Afternoon, Emily. How are you? I'm sorry it's taken so long to get done. I was looking over your work, and it looks like the thing that you're struggling with the compound inequalities is mostly the graphing. So I have a couple that I'm going to walk through with you just to kind of demonstrate that. So the first thing you need to notice always is if you're dealing with an or statement or an and statement. So that's going to affect your final answer. So this problem is an or. So that means that our final answer is going to be any number that would make this equation true or would make this inequality true. So either one will work. And this is what that's going to look like when we graph it. So let's go through and solve both of these. Grab a color here. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides of my inequality, and then I'll get 4n is less than or equal to 32. And if I divide by 4 on both sides, I get my n less than or equal to 8. So if I come over here, I'm going to go ahead and put a closed circle at 8, right? Because of the or equal to right there. And that means I'm going to shade anything that is less than 8. So that means my arrow is going this way. So those are all my numbers that are less than 8. So that's just for the first one. So I'm going to grab another color here. Now let's solve this inequality. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. Let me get my 18. Bring down that negative sign. That would be a place a lot of people would lose that. And then if I divide by -9 here, that means I'm going to have to flip that sign. And I'll get n and -2. So then if I just graph this purple piece, I'm going to come over to my -2. Again, close circle there. Ooh, messy circle, sorry. Close circle. And then I'm going to look for numbers less than -2, which is that way. So because this is an or statement, now we're going to talk about evaluating both of these statements. Okay? So any number that is shaded green, so all of these numbers would be green, or any number shaded purple would be considered a solution to this inequality. So your final answer is where those shades overlap. So your final answer is really this whole region, because either it's shaded green here or green and purple that way, but either one is fine. So anywhere there's any shading at all would all be shaded. So those are for or statements, okay? Either or, anywhere there's shading, that's your final answer. So if we compare that to an and statement, would look something like this. So here's an and problem, okay, that I've already worked out. So if I add 4 to both sides, I get my 10, and then I divided by 2. So then x greater than 5, greater than or equal to 5 would be here in red. And then I came and I graphed this one after I solved, and I got the 4, right? Subtracting 1 from both sides and then dividing by 3. Now this one doesn't have the or equal to, so I have an open circle at 4, and it was less than, so I went to the left. Now on an and statement, you're looking for where those two graphs overlap. What part do they share? And so on a problem like this, it's possible that you have no solution because there's no overlap on the shading. It means that there's no number that you could plug in to both of those inequalities. So if I go back up just a little bit so you can see, there's no number that is both greater than 5 and less than 4 at the same time. So this is an inequality because of that, and that has no solution. Okay, so on an and statement, you're looking for where there's overlap in your two shading areas. And then on an or statement, you're looking for either or. anywhere there's shading at all. So that really, to me, was the big thing that I saw you were struggling with on the homework, was making sure that you have an overlap. So when you have any inequality, you want to deal with each piece separately, graph it separately, and then come back and evaluate the and part. If there's any sharing here, which there's not, so you just would say no solution. Or if there is an overlap for an or statement, you want to make it really clear that you know that it's both of those regions. Okay, so I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, go ahead and reach out to me, and best of luck with the rest of the school year. Thanks.